Hey everyone out there in the land of YouTube, this is Annette Dion. I am the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. Today is Friday, June 3rd, 2022. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. I know that there's an overload of news happening, so we're going to go through that, and we are heading into the week of the public hearings where the January 6th committee is going to show us all their findings and give us the timeline and the story of how Donald J. Trump tried to violently overtake the United States of America's government. It's going to be kind of harrowing, that's my psychic impression. It's going to be tough. I mentioned before that I can't really watch any video footage of that actual day because it's too traumatizing and it's seething with evil, demonic energy, so it's too hard for me to watch the video, but I will be very cognizant of what's happening. I will get all I'll just not look at the video, but I can definitely listen to the whole thing. And if you're sensitive to violence, these are not easy times, that's for sure. So cut yourself some slack, give yourself a break. Don't force yourself to watch something that's just too difficult, and there's no use in getting overly traumatized. So I also want to say that I'm thinking about next week. Well, from the time that the hearings start, which is the 9th, I may do a daily video until the hearings are over, so look out for that. I'm pretty sure. So they start on the 9th, from what I have seen thus far. Last night, prior to the Grassroots of Democracy meeting, I had been watching Peter Navarro on Ari Melber live on MSNBC, and he was interviewing Peter Navarro again, who was completely, just showcasing his guilt. And he's kind of proud of what he was participating in to overtake the government, violently. And so I watched him just perjure himself on television, and like he had done before in Ari Melber's show. And it's fascinating because I see Peter Navarro like in this like little inner circle of Trump and all his minions, and I just really have this sort of a vision of Trump just, whenever he gets somebody to do his bidding, I feel like he does it with this, like, nothing's going to happen, don't be silly, nothing's going to happen, because nothing's ever happened to him. He's never really had to pay for his crimes. So after I watched Peter Navarro, before the Grassroots of Democracy meeting, which is every Thursday, and you know how to join, and I'll tell you at the end once again, and it'll be posted in the description. I had looked at the pendulum, and I asked, because of what Peter Navarro was saying on Ari Melber, and I knew he had been, he's convicted of, he's in contempt because he didn't provide the documents that were requested, and he didn't show up for the deposition, and he had a June 2nd deadline, and he just was like, yeah, I guess he was just thinking Trump told me nothing would ever happen to me. So I checked the pendulum to see if Navarro was going to prison, and the pendulum very clearly said yes. So Navarro will be behind bars, and he's not the only one. Spoiler alert, it's probably not a spoiler alert, but by the end of the January 6th public hearings, we will know that Donald Trump was the kingpin in the plot and the plan to overturn the United States government and to transform this government of this democracy into an autocracy. Plain as day. We won't be able to go, oh, well, maybe he didn't really mean it. There won't be anything like that. It'll be like, oh, well, okay, it was his deal. I mean, he had a lot of people encouraging him to do so and supporting his idea of, and having, he had a lot of help figuring out how to do this, and for entertainment purposes only, a lot of the help as to how to perform a coup was from Russia, was from Vladimir Putin. And maybe Kim Jong-un, but I feel like it was more from Putin. He definitely was, as we know, influenced by authoritarian dictators who do murderous, heinous things to people without even batting an eyelash. And I have never, ever let it, slip by me that when Trump was running for president, we all know he has gotten away with murder, and he even professed he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue in New York and get away with it. And we're all like, he's just joking. No, he was not joking. Because Donald Trump doesn't joke. Donald J. Trump does not have a sense of humor. When he says something heinous, he means it. There's so many moments. I mean, someday we could write a book on all the heinous moments, all the horrible things that Trump ever did, and we'll be just astounded that there are people in this country that think he's a great person. As Howard Stern said, Donald J. Trump doesn't even like the people that are at his rallies that support him. So anyway, so we're going to look at that tonight. A week ago, we were reeling from the massacre of school children in Uvalde, Texas, and we were also overwhelmed by the heinous activity of the NRA going ahead with the convention just mere days afterwards. And so Ted Cruz was up there at the NRA convention last week saying that the shooting it just didn't have anything to do with guns. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And there have been like 14 more shootings since that time. And so we're up to, I wrote down the stats actually about shootings. It's all coming out. And can I just say, if you live in a red state, just be careful and pray and protect yourself with white light, and don't be alarmed. Just be, be conscious. It's very scary. There's a representative. I didn't catch if he's a senator or even where he's from. Mondaire Jones. I'll look it up again. But he said the stats are there have been 311,000 students have experienced gun violence. It's a lot of trauma. And this year there have been 200 mass shootings, which is further into the year. I mean, I don't think that I have to count. I don't know how many days into the year that we are, but I'll do the math later. But it's 4 mass shootings per week this year. So last night was it last night? My days are blending together. No, Wednesday night I did a show with Corey. And it's just hitting me. I did a show with Corey Wednesday night. And each show that I've done with Corey since the middle of May, there have been shootings going on during our show. So our show was sadly interrupted and about 45 minutes in by the news of a Tulsa mass shooting in which this esteemed doctor in Tulsa got murdered by a patient that was having back pain. I mean, it's. Let's look at the cards. Let's look at the cards and see what's here. Tomorrow at 3 Eastern time, I'm going live on YouTube. When I look at what's happening in this country, I don't know what else to do, but like we all need to get on our knees and pray. It's a turning point. It's definitely anything that happens that's really awful and terrible. As much as we hate it, we do grow. It's been, you know, when you have your feet to the fire in life and things are really, really, really tough. I'm just generalizing, but those are the times with the potential for the most growth and the most advancement of an individual soul and of the collective, even though we don't understand why it has to be that horrible. On the other side of it is massive transformation. So when we look at all the gun violence, and it's just, there are no words to describe the horror of this. So we just have to kind of be like eyes bugging out and like, what the heck is going on? And just if we can kind of shift our perspective and just know on the other side of this, you know, we're going to get to the other side of this, and it's not like we're all going to go to the other side because of all the guns. Some people are, unfortunately. But there's a light. I was walking the other day. You all know that I walk every day, right? I was walking the other day and it was cloudy and there was a silver lining. I kept noticing a silver lining on the cloud cover. And I just kind of felt like, you know, don't forget, there's a silver lining, and it's understandable that it's hard to see it. But it's there. There's always a light in the darkness. Okay, so just, you know, just know that like the lighthouse cuts through the fog. So we'll get there. We just all have to be together on one page with it, and we have to, as much as we possibly can, keep on holding fast to a vision of a country that works. These Republicans that are believing and promoting the idea that it's better to have more guns, you know, there's a shelf life to that. They can't do that forever. So first we're going to start with the January 6th committee and see what's happening there and what will be happening. And I just, not too long ago, a few videos ago, I said that we were going to realize through those hearings, we will come to the stark awareness that we have lost our democracy to a large extent. I have said that the reason that Trump ever came along, you know, from a big, higher perspective, is that we need to strengthen our democracy. And what happened with Watergate strengthened our democracy. With all that this country went through with Richard Nixon, it strengthened our democracy because new laws were made, and, you know, I guess we could all look up the details. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers who followed Watergate definitely maybe know more specifics about what laws changed and what safeguards were put in place. So this is about the January 6th committee, and interestingly enough, the Tower card is going to show, like I just said, our democracy got destroyed on January 6th in a certain way. In a certain way, because the transfer of power, the peaceful transfer of power, is the hallmark of that is what democracy is. The people vote, and then there's a peaceful transfer of power, which Michael Cohen, actually, he was just on Ari Melber. Michael Cohen did say in one of his hearings when he was talking about Donald Trump that he told, when I see Michael Cohen speak, I'm like, here comes the psychic Michael Cohen, but it's not, maybe it's not so much that he's psychic. He might be a little psychic, but he has such amazing insight into Trump and the way that he thinks. It's incredible. I'm not sure how long he worked for him, but he definitely has, it's like Michael Cohen gets inside Trump's brain and he's like, this is what he's going to do. So the Tower is indicative of how much we lost our democracy. If it helps you, I mean, for me, I always go to that we didn't completely lose our democracy. That, I cannot even tell you how much hope that gives me. How much I feel like, I don't know, it just gives me hope that we're going to be okay. So maybe some of you feel the same way. So the Tower card is, the January 6th committee is going to bust open, you know, bust through all the lies that the GOP is trying to tell. I saw a picture of Trump, and we'll get to Jared Kushner. I think we'll get to him tonight. We'll see. In Saudi Arabia and the Crown Prince and all that. Anyway, so I saw a picture of Trump in the White House, in the Oval Office, and he's, you know, like he has some kind of, he thinks it's so important, you know, signing some kind of document, and he, you know, it was Jared Kushner, Steve Bannon, Mnuchin. I mean, there was a cast of characters sitting around him in the Oval Office. This was just like a stock photo picture that was on the news. I almost took a screenshot, but it went by too fast. I was like, what business did these people have being in the White House in the United States of America? None. Really, just dumbfounded. So these are the two cards I'm getting about the January 6th committee. The hearings coming up. They will bust through any, like I'm getting like Fox, I'm feeling like, they will bust through any of the lies that have been told. An interesting thing that's been happening with the whole, you know, gun violence, that whole debate, and the January 6th thing, like, the Republicans have no defense, because when something's right in front of your eyes, you can't say that it's not right there. They do their damnedest, but it doesn't work. But the Justice card is coming up too. So I feel like the January 6th committee is going to just sort of like flow into Merrick Garland, the DOJ, taking some action. And the Four of Cups usually indicates a missed opportunity. So I'm getting it's going to be hit or miss. They're going to win some and lose some. And I've kind of felt that all along. Like, there'll be certain people like Peter Navarro that will go to prison. And I do believe that Trump is on his way to prison. Yes, I just said that, and we will take a look. All the evidence will be there to send him to prison. So that it'll be I feel like there's a bit of a missed opportunity there, and with the January 6th hearings. But, you know, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be perfect enough to get the message through to more people, to the people that are on the fence and undecided. This will be convincing. I just see Fox just twisting it around, and I mean, I've seen even, and I mentioned this before, that I've even seen accusations. This is my psychic impression of how they're going to deal with all these revelations from the January 6th committee. You know, the people that were complicit, which there were, you know, Peter Navarro said there were 100 senators on board of the GOP that were participating in overthrowing the government. Wouldn't you love to see the list? But I'm sure we could compile the list together without too much of a problem. At least some of them. So I actually foresee accusations being made that sound something like this. Oh, the Democrats, they doctored those videos, and those people were actors. That's what I see. Doesn't take a psychic, does it? So, dum-de-dum-de-dum-de-dum. Plan something fun for the weekend. It's getting warmer in the northern hemisphere. Well, past 2 days haven't been, but it is getting nicer. Plan some outdoor activities. Breathe the fresh air. Hang out with loved ones. You know the drill, right? How to lift yourself up. So the moon will be in Leo over the weekend too. So tonight and tomorrow and the next day, the moon will be in Leo. I don't think I got finished saying that. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern time, I'm having a live YouTube video. We'll be doing 1 hour of prayer and intention time. At 4:30, I have the Grassroots of Democracy are sort of writing emails. I used to call it an email. I guess it's an email-a-thon. But we get together and we get to work. Right now we're working on signing petitions to fight gun violence and lots of other things. So 3 o'clock Eastern time live, the praying for our country time, and then at 4:30, if you're in Grassroots of Democracy, you'll get the Zoom invite automatically. Okay, so a little bit more about that. Yeah, the January 6th committee. So this is exactly what I was talking about. This is the delusion card. The GOP's attempt to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, just like they do about guns and gun violence. Similar to that, where they say, oh, no, 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 that's not it. That's not it. You know, the GOP. And after a while, you know, people do get angry. I mean, I've been angry all along, right? About what's going on with the Republican Party. The Five of Swords, they're going to start attacking the members of the January 6th committee viciously, just verbally. They're going to start, I think I said it recently, the dark side hates to be called out. The demonic hates to be called out. Once somebody says, oh, you're a demon, I mean, the real darkness gets called out, then they start getting really, really attacking. So this is that. This is the truth is coming out, and the GOP, the senators that were involved in the insurrection, are going to start attacking verbally. Jamie Raskin, Adam Schiff, Liz Cheney, I mean the whole Adam Kinzinger, they're going to start verbally attacking that committee. Let's pray for the committee. Let's send lots of light to them, because they'll just need that energy. And then the Wheel of Fortune is, there's going to be, at the end of the January 6th hearings being aired publicly, there's going to be a turn for the better. So this makes me think of the fact that we made it through January 6th, 2021. We made it through that. So it's like, at least we have something to work with. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't lose it all together. At least we have something to work with. So I do see a turn of things for the better. The more evidence that's out there, you know, people aren't as stupid as we might think. And then I have the Temperance card, which is about after the hearings, there's going to be kind of a little bit of a peace out time. So, and we're going to have to just process what we saw. We won't see immediate action from the DOJ, but there's a ton of stuff going on behind the scenes. So don't be fooled. Seriously. While I'm shuffling again to go to a different topic, I'm taking a little bit of a survey of a poll to ask whoever wants to write in the comments, you know, feel free, you don't have to, but I'm noticing that in my stats that people kind of check out after about 25 minutes. And my videos are usually more like 45 minutes. My PNN videos. With Corey, it's a whole different universe, right? Over 3 hours on Wednesday night. That's just because we're having a lot of fun. And, you know, when people see us live, it's fun to interact. But anyway, so if you want my videos to be shorter, just let me know. If you like them the way they are, you can let me know that too. You know, it's good to have feedback. It's good to ask for feedback, right? What's a customer survey says 25 minutes, or would you prefer 45 minutes? That's all. Just curious. Doesn't mean I'm going to do what you say. Just kidding. I do care. All right, so let's take a look. I feel like there's more to talk about. Of course, there's always more to talk about. Oh, how about this one? Louis Gohmert, you may have seen this, said, upon hearing about Peter Navarro being arrested, Peter Navarro was like, I was on my way to Nashville. I think he was on his way to Nashville. I think that's what he said. Maybe he was going to a country, maybe he was going to Tootsie's down on Broadway. Anyway, so Peter Navarro was like, I can't believe they're doing this. Well, you tried to steal our country. You were complicit. You were part of a coup. It's just unbelievable. So Louis Gohmert, this is literally what Louis Gohmert in Texas said. He said this. If you're a Republican, you can't even lie to the government. Pray tell. It's like, oh, what they are starting to sound really stupid. Gohmert, you know, I remember I was working for a church on January That was a few days before, right? So it must have been January 3rd. No, January 4th, 2021. I was zooming in because we were doing Zoom church. I played for a church in Boston, a Methodist church. And during the prayer time, prior to January 6th, I remember saying during our, saying out loud if we had an intention that we wanted us to pray for, I said, I just heard Gomer say that there's going to be violence on January 6th and we need to pray. That was January 4th, 2021 that I said that. And my point being, Gomer was pretty much giving us the heads up that there was going to be violence on January 6th. So anyway, so Gomer, you can just tell where his thinking is coming from. If you're a Republican, you can't even lie to the government. Oh, pray tell, poor you. You took an oath? You took an oath to defend the Constitution? All these insurrectionists, they need to be in jail. We're getting to a point in our country where we just don't even feel like we're safe anymore, and that needs to change. That needs to change, obviously. So I'm going to just pick a few cards to ask what's going to happen to the senators that will be outed from the January 6th committee hearings. They know who they are, and Ted Cruz pops into my mind immediately, followed by Josh Hawley, but there's way more. There's a long list. Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they were kingpins or queenpins. Oh, what's going to happen to the senators that were involved in the insurrection actively? This is what's going to happen to them. They will feel bound and tied, and it just brings an image to mind. For some reason, guns in America and the insurrection feel very connected to me. They feel very much like one and the same thing, because it's probably one and the same energy. So this reminds me of Jim Jordan at the gun law hearings that were yesterday. I don't think they went on today, but they were yesterday. So whenever Swalwell or Chris Murphy or this, what's his name? Mondor Jones, whenever they were speaking out, against gun violence and for laws to restrict guns, Jim Jordan was just like, he was showing his cell phone to somebody and he had his head down, just completely, and I've seen Ted Cruz do that so many times, just completely not acknowledging that somebody was speaking to them, not acknowledging that this was they're being paid. It's unnerving. They're being paid to do their job, to pay attention and to care, and they're being spoken to, and they're just, so anyway, this reminds me, and Jim Jordan is one too. This just reminded me of Jim Jordan because he knows he's guilty. It's that I know you're talking to me, but I'm not going to even give you any attention at all because I'm not going to admit to anything. This is how those senators that were involved in January 6th will be feeling when those hearings are happening. They won't be able to deny what's right there in the video and in the documents and in the text messages because they can't deny it. That's why I'm thinking of Jim Jordan and the gun law hearings. Just, what could he say? So that's that with the January 6th committee. The Seven of Wands, this is the country just kind of, whoa. Okay, looking at it. The Seven of Wands. Okay, looking at it. Taking a deep breath. Wow, really? That's the energy I get around now. And we'll read about it again, too, as it gets closer to Thursday. Interestingly enough, through all the horribleness, the country is actually going to come together, which is why I'm drawing parallels between guns, the gun situation, the crisis that we're in right now, the emergency crisis, and the January 6th hearings, because when they kind of dovetail, and they are, There's a sobering of America. There's a sobering. There's a like, oh my gosh, we can't have this. So that's the country kind of coming together as a family. Wow. Uvalde needs a lot of light and a lot of prayers and a lot of intending that something changes. I know we've seen several mass shootings since Tuesday the 24th of May. But people are starting to come together. Let's be part of the solution. We have to be part of the solution. We have to be. And especially if you have children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, especially if you have school age, people in your family, especially. So I'm straightening out the cards and I'm going to go to a couple more questions and I won't keep you as long tonight. Don't forget, 3 Eastern Time, live on YouTube. We're going to do prayer and meditation for 1 hour. Okay? Not asking you for anything, just turn on YouTube. Okay, speaking of laws against guns, what I want to look at is, are the Democrats going to use this, this need to blow the horn on the Republicans choosing guns over children's lives? Are the Democrats going to drive home the point? Like, they really need to. Those that are in the public eye really, really need to put it in everybody's face. The Republicans are choosing guns over children's lives. They don't want anything to do with helping children to live and to feel safe at school. They're not doing anything. So the question is, will the filibuster be abolished for this particular issue? We know it should be abolished anyway. Will the filibuster be abolished for the issue of gun laws being put in place? I'm telling you, the rest of the world is looking at America like, what the, WTF is going on there? I don't think I can make this a short video. There's too much to cover. I'll do my best. Okay. Will the filibuster be abolished? I guess that's one for the pendulum, right? Okay. Will the filibuster be abolished for the gun law issue? Joe Biden gave an excellent talk last night. We listened to it during our grassroots meeting. It was really excellent. And Joe Biden's been working on this for a very long time. We are fortunate that we have Joe Biden. I mean, just hearing him talk about how they're going to, deal with inflation and how they're going to deal with the gas shortage and how he's really thinking about the American people, it boggles the brain to imagine that people wouldn't want somebody competent in the seat, in the office of President of the United States, especially right now. Just incredible. It's a cult. The cult of Trump. Okay, so anyway, will they abolish the filibuster for the gun issue? No. Well, could change. So if they don't abolish the filibuster this is so bad for the Republicans. This is so bad for the Republicans. Will gun laws go into effect Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to learn another way. Sometimes the pendulum will say, what's going on with the present energy? Are you just telling me, dear pendulum, are you just telling me how the energy is presently, like right now, in the now moment? Okay, so yes, the pendulum's telling me how the energy is right now in the present moment. So what that means is, right now, the way the energy is, they're not going to abolish the filibuster to put gun laws in place. They only need 10 Republicans to say yes. And those 10 Republicans, I don't know who they are. I don't know who they would be. But anyway, if those 10 Republicans really don't have it in their hearts to care about people's lives, then they're going straight to hell. Let's just say it. It's just the way it is. Bad karma. In the next lifetime, it'll be bad. It's a lot of lifetimes you can incarnate into that can be pretty bad, and we've all been there. Anyway, it's just my personal opinion. Will the filibuster be abolished eventually? Gosh, it's not cooperating. Well, it's not supposed to give me the answer that I want. Let's look a little further into that. So what's going to happen with guns in America? We're the most violent nation on the planet. It's true. The people are going to pick up the pieces. And I don't mean, well, the people are going to pick up the pieces. And the people, this is about government by the people, actually. Because the Republicans won't let gun laws go into effect, the people are going to take matters into their own hands and make laws in their communities, it looks like. That's what I have for right now, to sort of bridge the gap during this time where everything is just up in arms, so to speak. Man, I'm pretty flabbergasted about that filibuster not being thrown out for this issue. Pretty flabbergasted. I do get a strong sense that America is going to have to go through some turmoil. More turmoil. Because things don't break until they reach a tipping point. And we're not there. We're very close to the tipping point with people having had enough with the gun violence. And this is pushing way more people into voting Democratic than ever. Because it's getting to be that it's not about democracy, it's about freaking survival. Do we want to live or do we want to die? And I say about that, to everybody vote Democratic up and down the ticket. Doesn't even matter where you stand on issues, but if you want to save the planet, you have to vote Democrat. I said that the other day. Okay. Lindsey Graham says we should send armed veterans to the schools. First of all, every school having armed veterans guarding the school. If I was a kid, I wouldn't go to school. That's a scary sight. And if I was a veteran, that's not the job that I would want. First of all, you're actually making people think, oh, there's going to be a shooting if there's an armed veteran, a troop of armed veterans at your school. And not for anything, but what a boring job that would be. Unless violence erupts, and then you don't want that kind of excitement. So Lindsey Graham, maybe you should ask the veterans if they want to be armed and guarding the schools, because it doesn't seem like a fun job to me. It'd be fun to see the kids, but sheesh. It does. Just when you think it can't get more ludicrous, it does. Lindsey Graham needs to go back to sleep, if you ask me. Do you know Lindsey Graham used to just put Joe Biden on a pedestal? Lindsey Graham used to speak so highly of Joe Biden back in the old days. Talk about a betrayal. Don't think that what's going on with people attacking Joe Biden doesn't hurt his feelings, because it does. But he's a Scorpio. And Scorpios might get their feelings hurt, but deep down inside they're scheming. their revenge. With Joe Biden, what he's scheming is, I'll just be the best president that I can possibly be. And I admire how Joe Biden just, to the best of his ability, doesn't pay them very much attention at all. He just gets real single-minded, which is a real Scorpio trait too. Scorpio is just like, I'm just going to plow through. And if you have Scorpio rising, you know, I have Scorpio rising. If you have Scorpio rising, you'll tend to be that way. It's just a trait of the sign. Anyway, so that's Joe Biden. He really... Let's read some cards about him. How's Joe Biden doing? After that China, that Asian trip, you know, getting the news about Uvalde on the airplane on the way back after he had just come from Buffalo, the mass shooting there, and then the mass shooting as soon as he stepped off that plane, he was exhausted. And I don't care if you're 22 years old, you would have been exhausted by that. But he kind of got his energy back, and he was real strong last night. He was a real strong speaker. He's exhausted. Because he just, you know, he definitely needs a break. Joe Biden needs a break. He just needs to be able to have a break. And I, you know what? It's not like going to happen, but I think it would be fine if a president could just take 2 weeks off and put the vice president in place. Just, they could still call each other. Who can handle that much pressure all the time? And you know, doing all this good work and having just like the Fox, you know, in the GOP, just, I know I'm sidetracking a lot tonight, I apologize, but anyway, it just reminds me that I did see a clip of a church in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville, and there's a church that has like 1 million followers, and they have a crazy, I'll find out the name of the church, a crazy preacher who literally was standing up there screaming that if you are a Democrat, you're I think he said something about needing to be removed. If you're a Democrat, then you're a demon. So he was threatening his congregation that if they voted Democrat, that they were a demon. I mean, this guy has a lot of followers. Anyway, I was talking about Joe Biden, and that's the kind of thing that he's up against. So that's what this is about, the Four of Swords. But it's also a card of restoration, too. Joe Biden is starting to get more people on his side. I'm not sure specifically what that means, but he's getting more support. He's starting to get a lot more support from, I feel like from people around him. And you think people around him would be supportive, but people, I think it's around this gun issue. People who really know, believe it or not, there are some Republicans that, and there are a lot of gun owners too, from what I hear, that are for laws and background checks. And I actually feel like Joe Biden is rallying more support and will rally more support than ever. Maybe that's why his speech was so strong last night, because it was like, it's kind of, as horrible as it is, a side effect is it's a unifying argument too. It's a unifying message that we don't want all these people dying. We don't want our loved ones dying from gun violence. The Ten of Cups, Joe Biden's a very spiritual man, and he prays all the time, and it makes a difference. It really does. And I feel like, I really feel like that he talks to the Pope a lot. I do. And no matter what you think of the Pope, he's, the Pope does have a connection. I know the Catholic Church, there's a lot of things wrong with the Catholic Church, that's for sure. I'm not saying there isn't. I just know that there's something there that Joe Biden does go to. I mean, I really believe there's a lot of power in praying the rosary. I do it all the time. That's just me. But Joe Biden has a lot of spiritual support. And we have all seen for a long time, psychics have seen that his son on the other side and his wife that, and young child that died long time ago, are very strong guides. He's got very, Joe Biden has very strong spirit guides. Donald Trump doesn't. Just so you know. Just so you know. Okay, let's totally, because I'm done with this topic for the time being. I was going to ask about Mark Meadows and Scavino, but I'm going to save that, because, you know, enough of that with the January 6th thing. The gun laws, it's not going to happen through throwing out the filibuster. It will happen, but it's going to be more at a community level. We'll see. We'll see what I mean by that, because like I always tell clients, I don't know what I'm talking about actually. I'm just getting this information, and then I have to sort of like sift through it and make it make sense to myself. The switching over, let's go across the pond before I say goodnight, or good morning, or whatever time you're listening. And what's going on with the Queen's Jubilee? Now, I just heard that she wasn't able to attend the festivities today because she was feeling kind of weak. I think that the Queen really, her life took a hit when, you know, Philip died. Obviously, when you're with somebody for that long, that's a really tough disconnect. And then Andrew, and then Harry and Meghan leaving the royal family and all that. I mean, it's and then I think she had COVID, right? So the Queen, you know, good for her. She looked great when I saw her out there and the planes are flying overhead, and her little great grandson, and he was so cute. The kids are really cute. Kate and William, their kids, and so she looked great, and all of the commenters, the news people were like, oh, she looks so good. She's 96 and she looks so good. We couldn't, you know, she's at a distance and probably had everything. Can you imagine being the Queen, just always being all coiffed and perfect? And what extravagance that must be, the Jubilee. Anyway, poor thing, it couldn't attend the festivities. They were having a big dinner or something. And I just know that all that stress, especially Andrew, oh my goodness, all that stress has really been hard on her. She's a bit older than Joe Biden, right? It's hard on Biden, but he's a young one compared to the Queen in terms of, you know, just taking on all this stress. And I do feel like she's kind of ready to go. I don't really predict death. I do feel like she's kind of ready to go. I guess when you get to be 96, you kind of thinking every day is a gift, right? But it is beautiful on the other side, just so you know. So I wanted to see how that's going to go. How the Jubilee is going to go. Is she going to, let's ask the pendulum, is she going to be able to attend any more of the weekend celebration of her 70th year as Queen of England? Amazing. Is she going to be able to attend any more of the weekend? Doesn't look like it. Man, are you sure? My pendulum's not cooperating. Well, it's not supposed to give me the answer that I want. Will she be attending any of it? She will be attending some of it, but most of it. I think she'll show her face. Okay, is the Queen going to participate in any more of the festivities? It's interesting because it looks like no, but she will show her face. We'll see her again. Will she make so she will make an appearance again at the Jubilee weekend, but I think it's the whole weekend. But she won't be participating in the festivities. I think her energy level is just really low, but we'll get to see her again. I was really curious because I didn't see on their balcony there, I didn't see Meghan and Harry, and I was just asking about that because I've been having this feeling about Prince Harry that he's feeling kind of challenged, and my UK followers just love for me to talk about the royal family. I don't do it much, but let's look at something. On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied is Harry with his marriage right now? 10 being really satisfied. 1, around a 2. Not so sure Harry and Meghan are going to make it. Let me tell you my impression of what's going on there before I let you go. I feel like, and I've said it before, I feel like Meghan is a high maintenance wife. I'm not saying anything bad about her. Some people are more high maintenance than others. And I feel like Prince Harry, this is just my opinion, having lost his mother at such a young age, has a little bit of an abandonment wound issue. And I feel like he does bend over backwards to make Meghan happy. And I also feel like that he misses his family. I really feel that strongly. I feel like Prince Harry really misses his family, and that he really hated that he wasn't on that balcony. And that's my psychic impression. It's, I mean, you would think that, but that is my psychic impression. I'm not so sure that marriage is going to last. So, for all my UK followers, there's a few of you out there. There's some pretty good cards here about the royal family. I feel like that they will, you know, I'm not particularly looking at, you know, Meghan and Harry. I just wanted to say that. It will, the rest of the Jubilee will be really, you know, and to tell you the truth, honestly, when I woke up and I turned on the news and I saw that they were covering the Jubilee, after all the hell news that we've been through, it really lightened us. It was a respite. It was a welcome respite for the world. Oh, look, they're having a huge party in England. It's kind of nice. So there's that. You know, it's nice. I mean, she's really, the Queen has seen everything. She really has. And she's been a wonderful queen. I don't know very many people that don't like Queen Elizabeth. And here's the Queen of Pentacles. She's had a very, very fulfilling time. Her life has been very, very fulfilling. The world is uplifted by her, and you know, she's like the grandma. She's like everybody's grandma. And the Ace of Swords, this is actually going to be helpful. It's helpful to Harry, because I was just speaking about Harry. It's helpful to Harry to be with the family. I actually am getting that something good will come out of this. It could be clarity about his marriage. It could be that his marriage goes on the rocks a little bit and they fix it. But let's just ask the pendulum. Are Harry and Meghan going to move back to England? I know you all might think that I'm crazy, but that's okay. I'm used to that. It looks like that they might move back. They're going to move back to the UK? Are they going to move back to the UK? I feel like they're going to move back to the UK. I feel like Prince Harry misses his family. So there you have it. Okay, I have to go. And you need to know all what's going on. So grassrootsofdemocracy@gmail.com. If you haven't joined us already, please send an email and type AYE in the subject line, and you will receive the Zoom invites to the meetings. It's no obligation. You'll just receive the Zoom invites, so you can come. And tomorrow, prayers and intentions at 3 Eastern Time, live on YouTube, right here. And Tuesdays, we have on Tuesdays, we have an intention group. Send an email to annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. Just type 20 in the subject line. Sorry, it's a lot. And then Church of Spirituality every Sunday live at 1. Please check out the last service. There's a lot of good stuff in Church of Spirituality, I promise. And if you'd like to book a reading, I have room. annettedionpsychic@gmail.com. All right. Namaste. The moon is in Leo. Leo is about having fun and being playful. Leo the lion, little lion cubs love to play. Watch Curiosity Stream. Watch a documentary about lions. Okay, I love you guys. I appreciate your comments, and I do read them. I don't comment much. I don't want to play favorites, but unless I really need to comment. Namaste. Love you. Bye.